We can't let this one fizzle away. And here's why. Dan Bongino, if you're listening to the David Paul Blumenshine show, he went through this whole episode of Dan Bongino where he says it's time for FU politics, where we kind of play some of the left's games. And I want to show this part of it because he talks about the Bud Light scenario and what we need to be doing. And then we're going to get back to the narrative and how it's actually playing out. But here is that clip from Dan Bongino playing it right now.
And then I've got some some footage from Biden in Ireland, the clown show. The clown in chief is just at it again. But lesson 8.
Lesson 8. Here we
Said
go.
it yesterday. Saul Alinsky's rules, baby. Pick a target, freeze it, isolate it, and do not let it go. Folks, you have an opportunity right now to do something about this dreadful Bud Light scenario. They want to get into transgender, sexual identity, politics, activism. Fine. They are a free company. I do not believe in socialism, but you are free to never purchase their product again. Katie Pavlich, Town Hall, in the newsletter. Merchandisers are sounding the alarm about what's really happening after Bud Light's woke move.
And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that, but that's the thing. Saul Alinsky's rules that he says is pick a problem, freeze it, isolate it, and do not let it go. And we have an opportunity in which we have not allowed the outrage to fizzle down. We have an opportunity to actually hold Bud Light accountable for alienating and pushing off their base. We have an opportunity to do so, but we can't let it go at all. And so he talks about how the consumer is actually doing something about this. He gets into it that merchandisers sound alarm about what's really happening after Bud Light's woke move. And so here's the thing is, so locally, I'm in Bloomington Normal, and I've been known to I'm a patron of many of the bars in the area. I have a good time. And in the past, I used to drink Budweiser and Bud Light. However, I've also been a fairly big fan of PBR for a lot of my life. Personally, it's just my own choices. But anyways, I've talked to managers in the local area of bars. And what I've heard is that bars aren't ordering Bud Light anymore, but it's not necessarily, and not just Bud Light, but a lot of Anheuser-Busch products, but primarily Bud Light. And they're not ordering it anymore, but a lot of them it's not due to their protest, because they're protesting Bud Light. Like I talked to one, and he personally is not a big fan of the Bud Light decision. But he said that if Budweiser, or if Bud Light, Anheuser-Busch, if they were going to make money, if the bar was going to make money off of Anheuser-Busch's products, then he would keep selling it because that's what he's there to do. He's a business. He's not there to make a political statement as a business. He's there to make money. That's what he wants to do at the end of the day. It's about the bottom line to him. Makes sense. He's a small business owner. But the consumer is protesting. The average person is protesting Bud Light. And so he has 30 plus cases of Bud Light sitting collecting dust in the back of his refrigerator. And while his usual order of 5 to 10 Coors Light cases is now not satisfying the amount of people that are ordering Coors Light instead of Bud Light. And so leftists continuously yell at me, progressives yell at me, well, you get what you ask for when it comes to the Dylan Mulvaney thing. This is capitalism. That's capitalism. A business is trying to appeal to a demographic, and that's capitalism. And I go, yes, I know. I love it. Thank you for finally realizing the great things about capitalism. Because the fact is that capitalism is the most democratic economic system. And why do I point this out? It's because oftentimes, like Dan Bongino said, I'm not a socialist. I want these businesses. This is what they want to do. I want them to do it. I want them to say, yes, we're going to show your true colors. If you want to bring out a transgender person as your influencer, go for it. If you want to appeal to the delusion that men can be women and women can become men, then go for it. I want you to do that because then I know where your head really lies. Because capitalism, again, is the most democratic economic system. You vote with your dollar. And so bars are not boycotting Bud Light. Their customers are. Like I said, I talked with local bars. They would keep selling Bud Light if it was making them money. But their sales of PBR, Miller Lite, Coors Light, and other alternatives are going through the roof as Bud Light cases are collecting dust in the back of their refrigerators. If you are a supporter of democracy, you are a supporter of capitalism, and vice versa. Because the market right now is dictating your consumer, not your businesses, not your suppliers. your consumer, your average person, you and me, you watching there, you listening at home, you and me are saying, no, you abandoned me, Bud Light, Anheuser-Busch, to try to appeal to a demographic that isn't going to drink you anyways.